All right, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we're going to recap real fast on the Delphi case. Some interesting things, uh, news releases and stuff like that. That's very interesting of what they think now. So let's play a little bit of this news clip.
Courthouse. But right before adjourning, Judge Fran Gall did grant the defense's motion to vacate Richard Allen's safekeeping order. This means Allen doesn't have to wait in prison anymore awaiting trial. Instead, he's now in the custody of the Carroll County Sheriff, who wouldn't share with us where he's taking him. Now, she didn't rule on any other motions yet. The defense today trying to prove third-party motivation in the Delphi murders because of the prosecution's motion to limit witnesses at trial. Allen's attorneys, Baldwin and Rosie, getting deep into their theory that this was a ritualistic killing done by multiple people. We've heard their suspicion of Brad Holder, a known Odinist, and today we heard from his ex-wife, Amber Holder, testifying that Brad said his buddy Patrick Westfall and others killed the girls, but he had to keep his mouth shut, otherwise they would kill him too. A former ISP investigator saying he always thought there had to be multiple killers, and the defense tried to revisit another former suspect, Keegan Klein. But with each witness, the prosecution kept going back to how none of the alleged Odinists nor the old suspects can be placed at the crime scene at the time of the murders. Another thing the defense wants included at trial is cell phone data that shows roughly 15 messages popping up on Libby German's phone at 4:33 a.m.
All right, 15 messages popped up on the girl's phone at 4:30 p.m. Okay? Now, this is interesting because we have video of the sheriff saying that he got a call real early in the morning, right? Stating that they had a ping off of the phone. Very interesting. Now let's continue to listen to this.
The morning of February 14th, 2017. The thinking is her phone, which was found under one of the bodies, had been somehow turned on by someone. The first
Her phone that was found underneath her body was somehow turned on by someone at 4:30 in the morning. I don't know, let me replay that a little bit.
Delphi murders because of the prosecution's motion to limit witnesses at trial. Allen's attorneys, Baldwin and Rosie, getting deep into their theory that this was a ritualistic killing done by multiple people. We've heard their suspicion of Brad Holder, a known Odinist, and today we heard from his ex-wife, Amber Holder, testifying that Brad said his buddy Patrick Westfall and others killed the girls, but he had to keep his mouth shut, otherwise they would kill him too.
Okay, so that's saying that Holder told his wife or girlfriend that someone else killed the girls, but he had to keep his mouth quiet or they would kill him too. You know, and that's the same story that we were hearing from that Jesse guy or whatever, whoever it was, Elvis or whatever, uh, which turned out to be a prefabricated lie or whatever. Someone started. But let's get to the phone part, the phone data.
A former ISP investigator saying he always thought there had to be multiple killers.
All right, the ISP investigator guy has said that he always thought that there was multiple killers, and it's possible. The possibility is there that there was more than one because the police in the press release stated that there was numerous voices on the recording other than Abby and Libby's. So I always thought there possible that there was other people there. All right, let's keep going on.
And the defense tried to revisit another former suspect, Keegan Klein. But with each witness, the prosecution kept going back to how none of the alleged Odinists nor the old suspects can be placed at the crime scene at the time of the murders. Another thing the defense wants included at trial is cell phone data that shows roughly 15 messages popping up on Libby German's phone at 4:33 a.m. the morning of February 14th, 2017. The thinking is her phone, which was found under one of the bodies, had been somehow turned on.
Let me wait for this clock to get done chiming. All right, so now they're thinking that the phone was turned on at 4:30 in the morning. Okay, and then she received 15 messages, supposedly, or she might have already received them messages, but being that her phone was turned off, she didn't get the messages until she turned the phone on. Then it probably she got the messages, right? Whether it was social media, whether it was emails or text or Facebook or whatever. So now they're thinking that the phone was turned on at 4:30 in the morning. Well, who was out there at 4:30 in the morning? Was it possible that one of the girls might have still been alive and tried to turn the phone on? It's possible. Is it possible that the girls weren't there when they searched that place in the first place? That's why they never found the girls that day, or the phone, or anything. It's possible. It's possible the girls were planted there. That's possible too. It's also possible that someone went there after the search was called off and possibly didn't do the murders but found the girls. It's possible. It's also possible the whoever did it went back there, right? But let's just say, hypothetically, even if they searched that place and for some godly reason they didn't find the girls, someone did at 4:30 in the morning and turned the phone on. Hello, Miss Debbie. How you doing? How you doing, Deb? Can you hear me okay? This is a very uh, twisted case. Now let's listen one more time to that so everyone can hear it and we get this right. I'm watching a news clip from the channel that was playing.
There had to be multiple killers, and the defense tried to revisit another former suspect, Keegan Klein. But with each witness, the prosecution kept going back to how none of the alleged Odinists nor the old suspects can be placed at the crime scene at the time of the murders. Another thing the defense wants included at trial is cell phone data that shows roughly 15 messages popping up on Libby German's phone at 4:33 a.m. the morning of February 14th, 2017.
There we go, right out of the horse's mouth. That's what they're saying. is the phone was off. That's why no one can get a hold of them. That's why they couldn't track the phone or anything. Someone turned the phone on at 4:30 in the morning. That's what they're saying. That's what they believe. That someone turned the phone on at 4:30 in the morning. Now, here's the thing. That search out there, there was hundreds of people out there. Everyone searched that whole area out there, even by the uh, cemetery and everything. No girls. And that's where they were found, right behind the cemetery. No girls. They even had dogs out there, people on four wheelers, all kinds of people out there. Not police presence. There might have been one police officer out there directing traffic or whatever. But there was no big police presence when all these people were out there looking. They didn't find the girls there. They swore up and down in news releases that they searched that part of the land and didn't find anything. It was only the next day that someone found them. But it's obvious now someone found them at 4:30 in the morning because now they're saying that the phone was turned on. They believe at 4:30 in the morning and the phone received 15 messages at 4:30 in the morning. Now, is it possible the girls were brought there, dropped off, and this whole thing was staged? It's possible. And they wanted to turn on the phone because they wanted the girls to be found because it's some sick twisted. Either they were trying to set up people with all this odeness stuff, the killer or killers were trying to set someone up, or Richard Allen did it, but someone else found them at 4:30 in the morning and staged it to look like it was some sacrifice. That's the only explanation, folks. I do believe a lot of people knew about it. This whole club, Odin thing, whatever they're talking about. I don't think it was anything to do with them, probably. Maybe there was a war within these people or whatever, or other organizations, but I think either Richard Allen did it and he left the girls not covered up, not anything. He just left them there and someone found the bodies. And did they have enough time to stage all this stuff? Yes, surely. Or Richard Allen had nothing to do with it and somebody dropped them the bodies off. Who are the other people on the recording? It only makes sense that there had to be other people that knew about it. They might not have been there, but either knew about it. There's numerous people that had a reason to get rid of the girls. Keegan Klein, he was he was talking and getting photos from two young girls, well, other girls too, but he was communicating with two underage girls, which he knew would get him in trouble. You had the other people using that account. You had this war, this supposedly thing with the biker Cody, the cousin, and the family of the girls with drugs and stuff. Very horrible. How you doing tonight, Jeff Polly? So, uh, is it a sick, twisted case? It sure is. It's a mystery because it could go both ways. Richard Allen could have been there, but it had nothing to do with it. Richard Allen could have been the killer and left them there, and someone found them and decided, oh, well, we're going to stage this to make it look like something else. For all we know, the girls weren't there. That phone wasn't there. And this whole bridge guy video that we're seeing was actually downloaded on the phone by someone else. A setup. It's possible. Anything is possible. Anything. You know? Richard Allen could have just been at the wrong place at the wrong time and was used. Very possible. It, why do I say that? Is because they didn't have the phone and they didn't have the bodies, and there was a massive search in that area. The night of the search, it was on the news out here. I seen it. There was actually cars inside the cemetery already. So they searched that whole area. So either somebody's lying and they were found that night, or they overlooked the girls and didn't see them or whatever. But the fact is the phone was dead or was shut off. How did the phone turn back on? That's the question. Is it possible one of the girls might have lived a little bit longer? It's possible. Determining the wounds, it's possible if she just laid there. It was cold. That slows down the heartbeat. It was cold that night. Uh, it's possible it slowed down the heartbeat enough for her just to survive to try and turn the phone on, and that was it. That was her last energy. Possible, but it was underneath her, so somebody left it there, folks. It's very sick. Well, would it shock me if they said, "Well, we searched that area and there was nobody there," right? Nobody. And then the girls popped up the next day, and then they get this data stating that the phone was turned on at 4:30, and that it was all staged, right? Possibly. Wouldn't shock me. As far as a sacrifice uh, of a massive group of Odins or whatever, and then leaving evidence that it was their own group, is stupid. Idiots. Who would have that kind of brazen power to say, they belong to the Odins and they sacrifice girls, and here is the evidence, and it points right to them? That would be the most stupidest criminals ever in the world. Ever. Usually sacrifices like that are not left for the rest of the world to see. Them are private, secret things. Uh, they don't leave evidence behind of pointing the evidence right to them. I'm not saying it ain't possible, but I find it highly doubtful. And we got to figure out this thing. You got to explain to me how they couldn't find the phone, they couldn't locate the girls, and then mysteriously, at 4:30 in the morning, the phone turns on by itself, and she gets 15 messages. You got to explain to me how we have a sheriff on video stating he received a call early in the morning stating that the girl's phone turned on and they had a ping in that area. Folks, something ain't adding up. Now, either some crazy YouTuber or idiot or whatever went back out there, found the bodies, found the phone, and staged it to look like something it wasn't. He might not have done the murders, but he stumbled upon the crime. And that person might have had a beef with somebody and made to try and pin it on someone else. Possible. It's possible. For one, would the killers or these sacrificers leave their handprints on a tree left behind? I don't think so. Uh, you gotta, you gotta, you gotta really think. I mean, if this is such a secret society and they do these things, do you really think they would leave evidence of who's doing it and pointing the evidence right at them themselves? You'd have to be pretty brazen or have cojones the size of Godzilla, right? Because now you're bringing the feds, Homeland Security, you're bringing other divisions into some. We got some psycho mad cult going crazy. It just don't add up to me. The whole thing. I'm not saying once again it's not possible because here on this channel anything is possible. All this talk of them, oh, it's witches and devil. You know what? It's possible. Anything is possible in the world we live in. Do I think that? No. I think we're dealing with some sickos here. I think we're dealing with a group of people in that area, and I do believe they've killed before. There's been other victims. Whether if it's just Richard Allen, that's fine. If it was one man, well, then you got to explain to me who are the other voices on the recordings because I'm not hearing Richard Allen's voice on the recording. I'm hearing something else on the recording other than Richard Allen. Maybe the first voice might be Richard Allen, but there ain't enough on Richard Allen to hear that's on social media to to do a good comparison. But to each their own. Everybody has their own opinion. My opinion is I don't know. I don't know. Either someone planted the bodies there or somebody don't know how to do a search and comb an area and they were overlooked. But you can't deny the fact that that phone turned on at 4:30 in the morning and got 15 messages. Now them messages might have been from later on in the day, depending on how long the phone was turned off. The phone might have been turned off for a day or two. We don't know. It might have been shut off as soon as the murders occurred. You know, there's people out there saying that the footage that we're seeing of the girls on the bridge might not even be from that day because the clothes ain't matching up. You know, numerous things, folks. Very crazy. Very crazy. And I also do think a strong opinion that it is possible someone found the girls and made it out to be someone else or make it look like it was someone else and scream Odin's. Maybe the Odins denied somebody from being an Odin. Maybe another organization had a beef with the Odins and tried to set them. Maybe it was some psycho YouTuber wanting to be on top and was out there and found the girls and turned the phone on and did things, touched things. We don't know. Maybe it was a crazy man and he actually got away with setting Richard Allen up. I don't know. They got to have something on Richard Allen. They had to have something at his house that placed him at that murder to arrest him. That's good enough for me to say he was one of them or had something to do with it or some knowledge. They had to have some DNA or some evidence other than because here's the truth, folks. Richard Allen went under the radar from 2017 to 2022 under the radar. Nobody knew who he was. He had enough time to watch YouTube and the evidence that was already out a couple years after the case broke, that a knife was, the girls weren't shot, they were they were stabbed with a knife. He could have already known that by watching YouTube. He could have planned this whole thing. He might not have had nothing to do with it, but he wanted to be the killer. Why? Because then he can be found innocent. Well, there's no evidence that he had anything to do with it. And then he gets a chance to sue and have buku money. That's possible. But using my brain of what I've learned over the years watching all this crime stuff, they would have had to have, other than him just coming up and saying he was there that day, they had to have some evidence that placed him there that only he would have known. And they would have had to have something at his house to place him at the crime. DNA, a bullet, a DNA from a dog, something that placed him there around them bodies for them to arrest him. I mean, if we go on anything other than that, then this whole country has been taken over by these Odinists, whoever they are. I don't know if they're bikers. I can't get a straight answer. Or they're dressed up like Vikings. We don't know. I don't want to mess with them because I don't want witchery and sorcery put on me, and the devil and all that. But anything is possible until the case is completely sealed. They have a lot of questions they have to answer. Who are the other people on the... Why did Doug Carter come out and say there was numerous voices on the recording other than Abby and Libby? Numerous means more than one. Whether they had an HD microphone and it was picking up people that were still walking on the trail, and you can hear the voices in the back, whether it's that or people up close to that microphone that were involved, I'm not sure. I'm not hearing Richard Allen. And if any of these people had the phone for longer than 8 hours, they could have manipulated any of this stuff on a phone. If somebody really knew what they were doing, they could have manipulated all this. If the girls were gone before they were even dropped off, if the story was all made up, they were never dropped off at the bridge alive, then it's possible all that data on that phone was created. The voices edited. There's a good chance of that. We're not sure yet because we don't have all the evidence. Let me see what's going on in my chat. The lovely Debbie Fox is here tonight. I'm good also. I've been so hot. Oh, you're always hot. Hot tamale. Jeff Polly, how you doing up there in Michigan? We got some rain coming Thursday. The infamous Lame Staley. Folks, make sure you check out, if you're in my little town here, LA Express. Great food. Today was Taco Tuesday. Great taco. I had the Guatemala, I don't know, that white sauce, the cheese. I had all kinds of stuff on it. The Guazo sauce or whatever. But that's my opinion on this case. Everybody, well, Richard Allen did it. Well, I need more evidence. And it's obvious they must have something, whether it's phone data. How many phones? They said 7 phones pinged in that area that day. Who were the seven other people of the phones that were pinging in that area of that day? A lot of questions to be asked. And the case is still ongoing, even though Richard Allen is behind bars. This case is still open and still going. Now, as far as Brad Holder goes and all these other people, Jesse Messer or whatever, and Elvis Presley, whoever this group is that they're putting in there, they're supposedly Odinist or whatever. If they did this murder, then they must be the most stupidest people to leave evidence of an organization that can bring down the whole. We're talking RICO Act and all kinds of stuff, meth. Who knows? Who knows what you got? Keaton Klein with the pedo stuff or whatever, and the drugs with him and all this stuff, and you got all these people that belong to this crew down there or whatever. You're talking RICO Act and all kinds of massive that bring down the whole oldness secret society thing. One man of doing something stupid like this bring down the whole group of them, man. It's just unbelievable. Quazo, whatever it's called, folks, make sure you check out their food. They have a little food bar there. You can get. I think tomorrow is Wing Wednesday. Today was Taco Tuesday. I'm eating a taco right now, and they're pretty good. So make sure you check out that. Like I said, a year or 2 years before Abby and Libby were out or killed, there was other murders happening down there. Plus, there was a task force created before Abby and Libby to take down these PETA or this ring or whatever that was going on that spans across the world or across the United States. And I imagine all these people might have been, they might not have done the murders, but they all were connected to each other through social media, drugs, prostitution, meth, clubs. It's everything the FBI and Homeland Security was saying. You have to keep this stuff in mind, folks. I can't just say Richard Allen's the killer. I don't have enough. Do I think Bridge Guy looks like Richard Allen? Not really. I'd have to see something up closer. I'd have to see. Bridge Guy has the same gait, sort of, as Richard Allen, but I think the gait's off. Now, like I said, folks, I could say Richard Allen is the killer, and they have one of them. I think they have many of them because I think there was many involved. I think it was, like I said, they didn't do the killings, but because they all belong to this group or club or gang or whatever these guys were talking, organization, whatever, they all covered for each other, or even they that this was normal to them. They were these tough guys and did whatever. And being that they were all brothers, they would cover for each other, whatever they call it. It's very possible. Highly unlikely. I think, I don't know. It's a toss up. Is it possible Richard Allen did it? Yes. I would have to see what they got, evidence. If it comes back and they said, well, we retrieved this girl's panties or something of the girls that belonged to the girls at his house, now bingo. But then again, if you really open up your mind, you go, well, he could have just been there and stumbled upon the bodies and took something because he was some kind of a sicko. Maybe their panties or whatever, on uh, you know, jewelry or whatever. Then again, he could be a serial killer. You don't know. I wish we had a computer or somebody that did know. Because Richard Allen could be a serial killer. And not just Richard Allen, a group of them. A gang or a club. I mean, what I'm seeing and hearing are two different totally things. I already heard there's a snuff film that the police and the government now, or the state or whatever, believes that there was a snuff film made, possibly, of this murder. Horrifying. Just horrifying. I do. Anything is possible, man. I do believe you have to. They might not have been there. Keegan Klein might not have done the murders. His dad might not have done the murders. And people are coming down on me. Go, you can't put Keegan Klein in there. Well, you know what? If Keegan Klein didn't do the murders, at least this state has one less pedo off of the street. Because even though he didn't do the murders, I'm linking him to the case because he was talking to them before they came up dead. Underage girls using an alt account. He lied about the account he was using, the face, the stolen identity, and all that. Right? That account was so he can go ahead and look at young girls. and get photos of young teen girls, younger than teens. Some were 9, 10 years old or whatever. Right? I mean, people are, they're you can't blame you can't blame him. He had nothing to do with the murders. No, he didn't. But they were 13 and 14, and he was talking all sexy to him and asking him to show some booty. Right? Him and his dad's above. They weren't sure who was using the account, the father or Keaton Klein, whatever. Either one. They were underage. They knew they were. They knew he. They knew the sister. They knew the girls in school. Keaton Klein knew the girls. He knew they were underage. He knew exactly who they were. But it was a mystery. He talked to them in person at school. Right? That's some of the data that we've been seeing on YouTube. But they never knew it was him. He's got to be a part of the case somewhere. He was luring young kids. And you had Chadwell. Oh boy. Yeah, I put dots together, and somewhere down the road, all these dudes involved in this case ran across each other somewhere down the road. It's a small town. How could you not? How could you not know these people in town or whatever? You got photos of all these guys, right? Concert T-shirts on, Harley Davidson T-shirt, riding motorcycles, and all crazy. And then you got Cody, the family member, that was a stepson to the family that all the girls had a crush on, and he was caught on social media saying he was going to do some naughty stuff to one of these girls, and somebody caught him and said, "Hey, dude, she's 13 years old. Are you sick?" I mean, that's what we're looking at here. I mean, there's numerous ways this, like I said, these girls could have been dead, weren't there. Richard Allen stumbled upon it, took something from the case because Richard Allen's a sicko, and didn't do the murders. I mean, we don't know. That's why we need a machine. We need to build a machine to hook these people up to. We can be able to tell exactly what's in their minds, exactly what happened. If we can tap into that one central nerve in the base of the brain, we might be able to look inside their brains to see if they're lying or telling the truth. I'm not sure. We're going to work on it. I know a lot of you out there are probably going to say, "You're a monster." I already know Crime Night and the rest of them are, "You're diabolical." No, I'm just making content. That's all. Am I going to build a device to it? No, there's already one built. They already have it. My God, these people have gone crazy. I have an open mind. Some of these people don't. But there you go. Debbie, were you able to hear the news broadcast that I was playing? Were you able to hear that? Sweet, lovely Debbie. I'm not sure if you were able to hear that. I was just wondering. If not, I'm going to replay it real quick so you can hear it.
Holder, a known Odinist, and today we heard from his ex-wife, Amber Holder, testifying that Brad said his buddy Patrick Westfall and other.
All right, Brad Holder said his buddy Patrick Westfall killed him, but he had to keep his mouth shut or they would kill him. Ooh, dun dun dun. Unbelievable. Now let's go on with more.
Others killed the girls, but he had to keep his mouth shut, otherwise, they would kill him too. A former ISP investigator saying he always thought there had to be multiple killers, and the defense tried to revisit another former suspect, Keegan Klein. But with each witness, the prosecution kept going back to how none of the alleged Odinists.
Well, see, here you go. The ISP investigator said he always thought that there was numerous people involved. But then you had Doug Carter in the news press release saying, I heard the reporter ask how many voices were on the tape. Was it just Abby and Libby's voice? And Doug Carter looked up and said, there was numerous voices. And then the reporter said, Mr. Carter, what do you mean numerous? Well, you mean other than Abby and Libby's? And he said there were numerous voices on the recording other than Abby and Libby's. I mean, come on, folks. Come on. That right there tells me there had to be more than one people there. There had to be more than Richard Allen if it was just Richard Allen. Somebody's voices were on that recording.
Nor the old suspects can be placed at the crime scene at the time of the murders. Another thing the defense wants.
So they're saying that none of these suspects that are brought up in this case, all of them, even some YouTubers, cannot be placed at the scene of the crime when it happened. Maybe because it never happened there. Ugh. Dun dun dun.
Included at trial is cell phone data that shows roughly 15 messages popping up on Libby German's phone at 4:33 a.m. the morning of February 14th, 2017.
15 messages popping up on her phone at 4:30 a.m. on the 14th, the day after.
The thinking is her phone, which was found under one of the bodies, had been somehow turned on by someone.
They think that the phone that was found underneath the body was somehow turned on at 4:30 a.m. in the morning. How does that happen? Well, I got a couple, like I told you before, it's possible one of them used the last energy they had and turned the phone on and then just passed away, God forbid. Or someone found them at 4:30 in the morning and turned the phone on. Or someone at 4:30 in the morning after they knew that the search was definitely called off and there'd be nobody out there, went back and dropped the bodies off and staged the whole thing and then turned the phone on and put it underneath the girls and left. Very possible. Why? Because we don't know. Why? Because there was people out there, hundreds of people, the night of the murders that searched that whole area and there was no girls there. We even have the footage on news channels of these people saying that's a lie. Them girls were not there. When we searched that area, in that area where the girls were found, and they were not there. We have this footage that was on YouTube everywhere. Someone ain't doing something. Something ain't adding up. The enchilada, the cheese sauce went bad somewhere down the road. If they weren't there when them people searched, then that means the girls weren't there. They weren't killed there. And at 4:30 in the morning, that phone was turned on and everything was staged to look like something that it wasn't. Now, that concludes this live on this. Hello, Miss Kelt. How you doing? Things are not adding up. Are possibilities high? It's possible that any of these scenarios happen. It is also possible that Richard Allen was the lone killer, killed the girls, left the girls there to die, and didn't stage it to look like anything other than himself. It's possible that someone did find the girls late at night and did make it look like something that it wasn't and did turn the phone on. There's numerous possibilities, folks. Until we have this case closed and all the evidence out for the public to see, hear all of the footage, see all the footage, until this case has been dissected, it's still an ongoing case. There's a good chance all this stuff that we're seeing that supposedly came from her phone never came from her phone and was all planted or created on YouTube. We're not buying the brainwashing Kool-Aid that everybody is passing out. We ain't buying the madness on this channel. I'm mad enough. I got my own problems. I ain't dealing with that madness. Now I'm going to finish my tea. Is there any questions? Anybody got anything to say? A lot of people only hear what they want to hear. They want Richard Allen to be the 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 one. Do they have evidence? Not that's been put out in public. Show me they got something from his house that only he could have, that was property of the girls. And even then, Richard Allen just could have been there at the right time or the wrong time, stumbled upon the girls and took something because he's a sicko. Mentally, I believe Richard Allen was a sicko before the Delphi cave. Mentally, he had mental problems. Heck, I've been listening to people say, well, do you think he's a serial killer? He could be. This He got caught this time. How many did he kill before this? Who knows? Did he know anybody else in that area? Did he know Keegan Klein? Did he know these people? Were they all buddies drinking at the bar on Saturday nights? Right? Which it looks like the video that's out, some of these guys can be seen in the bar with them drinking. So they might have been a bunch of bar buddies. Right? Weekend bikers or whatever, Odinist or whatever. Who knows? The possibilities are endless. We can go around another 7 years coming up with scenarios of what happened or whatever. The bottom line is that area was searched. There was no girls. At 4:30 in the morning, mysteriously, that phone turned on. And then the girls were found that morning at that place. A lot of people got a lot of explaining to do. Where it went wrong, I have no idea. That ain't my job to find out. We pretty much know what happened. It turned into a circus, just like the Trump shooting, right? Went from one shooter, one kid that just was nuts, pissed off at the world, to it was a whole country. And now we're going to war. This is what I'm talking about with conspiracies. You people keep telling me they're not real. And we keep proving conspiracies are real. We watch them be created every day, right? And we seen it in the Trump shooting. It was one kid. Now all of a sudden, there was three shooters. and it was a whole country, and now we're getting ready to go to nuclear war. I mean, it's madness. In reality, it was one 20-year-old kid that hated the world, politics, whatever it was, and decided to make a name for himself. Now they got it. The FBI was in. He was going to the FBI's office. He was talking to Jimmy Seagull, that was based in another. I'm like, it was a kid. It was an idiot. He had to know in his brain he was not walking out of there alive. He had to know it's someone that stupid to try and do something like that. Unless you are a mile away from your target, if you're close to like that kid was, you're not going to make it out of there alive. That kid should have known that he was not going to walk out of that area alive, that close to the president. It's just it's an idiot. It's We're seeing it in YouTube cases of getting all twisted and turned, and people making stuff up and everything. Do I know who the killer was? No, I was not there. I have no idea who these people are, and I wouldn't even want to know some sicko that would do something like that. I'm going off the evidence that they're putting in front of us. Unless we have documentation, and these people, oh, we got the documentation. We don't even know if the documentation that was given to these people, that was posted to the public, is real and not fabricated by the government. The secret deep state Illuminati didn't post for us to believe. The brainwashing. I'm not buying it. We have no idea, to be honest, until we go to court and it's all revealed in front of us, like the O.J. Simpson case. Everybody knew what was done. Everything was there. O.J. couldn't lie. Of course, they didn't get him because O.J. was O.J. And when you got a lot of money, I guess it buys favors or whatever. Who knows? But they did get him on the cause of it. Right? They couldn't place him there. They really could, but I don't know. OJ must have called in one heck of a favor because now, I don't know how many years now. Now all the evidence does show that OJ Simpson did the murders. No, I don't know. All right, you folks. You folks have a great night. I'm going to have some tea. Oh, the great Miss Kelt is here. Will you play for us soon, Johnny? Oh, guitar, I know. No, I miss it sometimes, but he needed to try harder with that glove. I don't know. I think the glove fit, but being that it sat drenched in blood and then dried, it shrunk it. Plus, he had them latex gloves on, which might have caused some trouble getting it on. But I do believe the glove fit. It just was soaked in blood, and then it dried. And everybody knows with leather, uh, it crinkles up, it shrivels up. I mean, it don't make sense. OJ's blood was found at the scene. It was found in his vehicle. Ron and Nicole's blood was found in his Bronco. A trail of blood leading to his house, his socks drenched in blood, that he was not there. So there we go, folks, on the Delphi case. It's still an ongoing case. I do, I do believe this case will be going on for a while, even though like I said, some of these guys in prison might not have done the murders, but I do believe they knew about it, or knew the people, or they all knew each other. I don't know. I can tell you this much though: uh, crime night, Joe put on like a defense for Richard Allen and was showing the volume of blood that would have been missing from the girls. And he was trying to explain, right, as if he was a defense attorney defending Richard Allen of what happened to all this blood. Well, if it's true what they said, that one of the girls' uh, hoodies was drenched in it. Well, a hoodie, and one of the girls was pretty big. So if it was a big hoodie, is it possible it soaked up a lot of that blood? It's possible. If she had a big hoodie on, it's possible the hoodie soaked up the blood, her pants and stuff like that. But see, what gets me is we're not hearing about the massive blood in any of the reports, right? We're not hearing of any spray patterns on the ground, any massive puddles of blood or anything. Do I think the killer would have left his handprint there? I don't know. We're talking about idiots. We're talking about idiots. Why would you leave a something there like DNA or a fingerprint there to pointing, leading everybody right to you? I don't think so. I don't think it was the killer's handprint or any. I don't think it was any kind of a sign. It was a handprint, but I think it was probably from one of the girls. If it wasn't from one of the girls, then then maybe somebody found the girls at 4:30 in the morning or whatever it was, late, early in the morning. And maybe they got blood on their hands and they leaned up against the tree. I don't know, but the killer leaving any evidence there of him, uh, stupid, right? You're not dealing with professionals. All right, so that's my opinion. You folks go back to doing what you're doing. A very interesting case. Very interesting case. But these some of these YouTubers were talking about sticks and penetration of the bodies years and years before all this Holder and stuff and all this craziness came out, which we couldn't. Some of us couldn't figure out. Well, how do they know that? Because only the killers would have known. Only the people that were at the crime scene or investigators would have known, or the people that found the body would have known if there was any sticks involved, any of that stuff. So how did some of them YouTubers find out? Years and years before any of this was released. Only the times will tell. The hands of time. Only God knows the truth. And one day, hopefully, God reveals it to us all. Me, myself, I don't think Bridge Guy looks like Richard Allen. Not from far away distance. Hell, I got a guy living in an apartment complex that looks like Bridge Guy. Remember the guy they were showing with the thick glasses and a giant mustache and wearing a ball cap? I see that guy every weekend walking around out there. Everybody was Bridge Guy for the first couple of years. My God, that taco is good. If you're anybody that works at LA Express out here at the gas station and you're in my chat, them tacos were pretty good today. Although, can I say your onion rings? I don't know if you changed the batter or you're letting them cook too long, but they're very, very crunchy. And I used to love onion rings that were crunchy when I had a full set of teeth. But now, I don't know. I like them batter ones that you had. They were like bear batter or whatever. They were real soft. They were really good. They were a little bit crunchy, but real soft. I don't know. You don't want, and the wings. You don't want to overcook them wings. You don't want them crunchy, where the meat is is deep fried. You want to keep that meat tender and juicy, but the outside you don't want to cook them over. You don't want to overcook deep fry. I mean, I'll eat it, but I'm just letting you know. I don't know what happened. Maybe you changed cooks or something. I don't know. Let's get back to the old way. Let's get back to the old way. Old way is good. Now, let's see what Kelt is saying. Lame, easy to hide a tuck gun if you are a baggy, big baggy shirt. Yes. Well, in the beginning of this case, we knew that the girls were not shot. Okay, because everything that they were saying was they were murdered by knife. But we didn't even know if that was true because that information was not released yet. So we knew one thing, that the girls were not shot. We knew that because the police came out and said they were not shot. But we didn't know if they were suffocated, if somebody choked them to death, if they were beaten to death, if they were stabbed, if they were shot, because that information wasn't out. So, I mean, it's interesting. Could the police done more? I think they should have released more of the video, more of the recording. Uh, Me myself, I think maybe some of these people were arrested for having connections to the Delphi case, but didn't do the murders and pled to lesser charges, or them themselves were looking at time and they ratted on other people, and so on and so forth. Plus, if they had data, phone data of all these people they were picking up, right? Keegan Klein, the last people to talk to the girls, supposedly. If they had all this data and they confiscated Rich or Keegan Klein's phone, and he was talking to any of these people around town or whatever, they all might have known each other. It might have been exactly what some of these people were saying in a big club. I'm still eating this taco bowl. I'll probably pay for it later, but it tastes so good. Oh, I think you care lame or you wouldn't be here aggravating us. Ah, well, that's my opinion on Delphi. Who's the killer? Who knows? Hopefully, one day we find out. How many people were involved? Who knows? Could be many, it could be a couple, it could be, who knows? Who found them? Who knows? Who was the person that turned the phone on? Was it one of the girls with their last dying breath? Tried to communicate to somebody and get help? We don't know. Or was it that somebody, just a, a, a bystander walking through there, or someone looking and found the bodies and made it look like it was something that it wasn't? Who knows? But I want to thank all you great people for showing up and pay no attention to me. I'm an idiot. Dumber than a box of rocks. Not just making movies. Just making content. It would be interesting to find out if there was a snuff film made. There's all of our answers made, folks. There's all of our answers. If it's true what they're saying, and there was a snuff film made of the two girls being murdered, then we hit it right on the button. It was exactly what we thought it was. This big ring or whatever. Do I think that? I don't think so. These are people that are just leaving uh, trails back to them, right? To whoever did this, whoever filmed it. If it was filmed, uh, then there had to be more than one person there to hold the camera while this was all going on. Maybe that's why the police were saying there was numerous voices on the recording. I don't know. Interesting. Very interesting. A lot of questions. A lot of people wondering. A lot of people are brainwashed. A lot of people are focused on one thing and one thing only. It's the Odins, and I don't blame them. Right? We all thought that this crap that these people would grow up and put aside their childish things of gangs and all kinds of crap and everything. But no, I guess they still worship some Viking god from 25,000 years ago, whatever it was. The Great Odin, or whatever his name is. I ain't never seen any of these Vikings drive. I've seen plenty of bikers driving around out here, but none of these secret Viking dressed women with wenches walking around. Is that what they called them back then? Wenches? I ain't seen none. I ain't seen none out here. But this answer, if it comes back and they show proof of it, ooh, this is a group and they do practice witchery and sorcery and sacrificing, then folks, that is the trouble with our society and neighborhoods. They're sacrificing us within our own neighborhoods and society and country. And probably not the federal government, but these people that still live in the 80s. It's probably left. If it's in Indiana, this organization, and they do all that, I wouldn't doubt it if these people are Charlie Manson dudes that followed Charlie Manson. And Charlie Manson was from Indiana. His mother was. I wouldn't doubt it if just naming it the Odins. Bunch of Mansons running around now. That's just great. That's just great. Oh, joy, right? Ah. Hello, Miss ATS News. I'm just about ready to get off here. We were just discussing the Delphi stuff and the new evidence and the new stuff that the phone was turned on at 4:30 in the morning. 15 messages were uh, on the phone at 4:30 in the morning. Oh, thank you, Miss ATS News, for hitting the like. Yes, it's very interesting how all this is unraveling right in front of our faces. Yeah, it's an odd number there. I'm really starting to lean towards. We got no massive blood. They're not showing us no proof of massive blood. We got a search party of over 200 people or hundreds of people they were saying that was out there. That we even have news footage of these people saying it's impossible. We searched that whole area that night. There was no girls. We searched that area where they were found and they weren't there. Well, that leads me to believe that they weren't there or they didn't do a very good job at the search. One of the two. But until the case is over with and everybody, and it'll never be over with because we can't see what's going on in the court. So that leaves us, society and people out here, to say we don't know because now it's being hidden from all the people. And what does that scream? I don't know, cover up. That screams of a great cover up, a mass illusion of something that is nothing. And what does that leave? Chaos, commotion. The case will never end. Why? Well, because they don't, it's making money. It's making tons of money. This is another Summer Wells case. They don't want it to be solved. It's making too much money. This is so many of these cases that are making news companies money the longer they're open. They hope it. I wouldn't doubt it if some of these people called in and led the people on a wild goose chase, or the police, just so the case can go on so they can make more money. More money, more money. The case will never, it'll go on for, it'll be like the Kennedy assassination. Maybe in 70 years we'll find out. Brazen cover up, Lynn Staley said. I wouldn't doubt it. Wouldn't shock me. I'm not saying that's what's happening, but would it shock me? No. No. There's so many people making so many questions. Whenever you question the family, bad things happen. That, what does that scream? Somebody don't want the family questioned. That's what it screams automatically. The citizens, uh-oh, something shady, right? We heard the Slim Shady record just dropped. That they're handling it all the wrong ways. And if they're saying, they keep saying, well, because it's an ongoing case, well, then, God dang it, just come out and say there's many people involved. That it's a giant pedo, sicko, madman cult, whatever you want to call it. But don't lead people to believe that it was this and that when it was something totally different. Now you got other people coming up dead down there. When you got the government on the news out here saying, oh no, we don't think anybody is at harm. No, little Joey came up missing yesterday. It had nothing to do with anything of this Odin madness going on around here. It looked like he had carvings and pay no attention to anything you hear around here. You see nothing. You heard nothing. That's what's going through the Americans' people minds when you don't come out and show them the evidence or show them the proof. I know it's gory. I know it's sickening. But the truth is in all this madness and the photos, the crime scene photos, the crime scene photos of the bodies, any bruises on the bodies, any of this, any drawings, any of this madness is all evidence of what happened, the truth. So 70 years from now, we're not still watching the Delphi case. Really crazy when you got supposedly these so-called professional crime fighting channels professional. I was in the FBI. You were fired from the FBI because you had schizophrenia and you thought Burger King was real and to make burglar and everybody. Now all of a sudden you got a YouTube channel and you've taken down 6 million people. All of them have turned into Ernie Shaw. I'm telling you, Ernie Shaw's a vampire. He's bit everybody. They've all gone crazy. They're all lawyers. They're all FBI agents. They're all secret society. They're all cops. Everybody's everybody. It's just crazy. Let me tell you what it is. That's everybody in the corner drooling on ourselves, waiting for our injection of something because we just can't take this no more. We can't. I'm dealing with people that still believe in fables from thousands of years ago. I'm dealing with people that think the hamburger is real and all of his little friends. I can't do this no more in this country. There's no. It's gone too far. It's just I can't do this. I can't do it. I got Trump in here trying to blackmail me with shamrock shakes and Big Macs from the clown's house. I can't do it no more. I can't. I can't. I can't. I'm done. No, I can't do this madness no more. This is just a revolving door of madness. Tomorrow, it will be Bigfoot that committed all this. It will be aliens. I can't do it no more. I can't. This is how conspiracies happen. We've seen it. We've seen it right in front of our faces with these cases. Madness. Now, don't try and talk me out of it, ladies. I'm done. No, this case will always be mysterious. 10 years from now, they'll be talking about this case of what should have been done and what shouldn't have been done, what should have been released. Here's what's funny. A year before the girls ended up dead, there was a task force. We had the FBI and the government on the news out here in India. We got a problem. We're starting a new task force. Yeah. And then all these dudes start getting picked up down there. And these people can't figure out what's going on. These people on YouTube that cannot connect dots, that it was a giant, massive group of idiots. Idiots. And they just can't connect the dots. They just can't connect the dots. They just can't connect the dots. And then they want to come at me well, Richard Allen, you don't know. And Keegan Klein, he wasn't there. The police have already come out and said he wasn't there. No, but a couple hours before the girls came up missing, he was the last one talking to them. He's 20-something years, or 21, 23, whatever it is. The girls are 13. And he's asking for nude photos and wanting to hook up with the girls. You don't find that enough to lock him up? Well, yeah, but they arrested him and let him out. Yeah. And he left and took off to Vegas for I don't know how many years. They had to wait for him to come back, or they were going to actually send somebody. They contacted him, told me he had to come in. Wait, are you kidding me? Right? Then the evidence, we think there was a snuff film made. And there's a bunch of them, and it's a ring. And Keegan Klein had over 200 photos of little kids and young girls with naked photos. It's a big, yeah, it's everything the government was saying it was. But who am I? I'm the idiot. I'm going to get off this thing. Oh, now look at Miss Kelp. Oh my God, I love Shamrock Shakes. How come I wasn't here when he was trying to sway you to get you to vote for him with Shamrock Shakes and Big Macs? I'm sorry, Miss Kelp, but Johnny just don't roll that way. Cannot be bought by Shamrock Shakes. There's numerous things that I would rather have than Shamrock Shakes and Big Macs. But that's all right. You have the right to believe that and love Shamrock Shakes. Who doesn't love Shamrock Shakes? But I can't be swayed with Shamrock Shakes. Because it's out of the people's comfort zone to comfort this reality. They can't, they can't fathom. They just can't fathom that is happening in our own country, that we live amongst people that you think are good, and the next thing you know, you're dead, right? You're dead. You got the government, and we're being overtaken by a bunch of radicalists, white racists, bikers, Odins, whatever they call them. I don't know. It's gangs, whatever. And it's just mad. It's mad. It's mad. And any politician to get on the news or get on in front of the American people and say, we don't think anybody's at harm. Don't worry about it and everything's fine. And oh my God, little Timmy's missing. Just pay no attention to that lady. Get her out of here. I mean, it's just madness. I can't do it. Oh my God. I can't go on like this no more. My mental illness won't let me. I have been completely tore down, ripped down, assassinated myself. They tried to take out a whole bunch of us. You hear that? You hear that, American citizens? We got too close to the truth. When you get too close to the truth, everybody knows they got to go. I'm bailing out on this one. They got me. It is true they tried to make an attempt to take me out. I did survive it, but I'm not that dumb to get too much deep into this case, because I know that if they want me dead, next time they'll make sure they do it. So I'm not that dumb. I'm backing out of this. I'm done with the madness. I'm retiring. You hear that? I'm retiring. You no longer have to send your assassins after me. Now, is there anything anybody wants to say or talk about? People being completely for resource, power resource, financial resource, it's interesting. Not when you're poor. They're squeezing blood from the poor. We got no blood to give. Some of these people are going out and doing murders to give you people blood. I refuse to do it. No, it ain't Copfax. I'm not Copfax. Copfax is an old retired FBI agent. Took down many a people, supposedly. Comes to find out he was somebody that worked at a Dairy Queen. And the only thing he took down was a bunch of ice cream bars. Who knew? Nobody knew. Nobody knew. I think tomorrow I'm going to wake up and become someone I'm not, because it just makes views and subs, and why not? Exactly, little Debbie. Lassie, go find little Timmy. But little Timmy is busy right now, being choked to death because it's madness everywhere. I got timed out and Crime Nights channel today. And I was being nice. I was agreeing with Joe with Crime Night. Where did all that blood go? We're not seeing all the footage. We're not seeing all the photos. That blood might be within the giant hoodie or the pants, or there might not be the blood they're saying was lost at that crime scene. And that opens my mind to they weren't there. Someone late at night dropped the bodies off in the phone. It's possible. You have to keep an open mind. Anything is possible. For these people to know exactly what happened, these people are related to police officers or they're related to FBI. Either that or I'm talking directly to the FBI branch right now. We got a leak because somebody is, these people know too much about this case for them not to have inside information, thus for corrupting the case, thus for the case has been corrupted. You got leaks within the case. And would it shock me? No. Would it shock me if some of these YouTubers are actually related to some of these police officers and down south down there in India? Nope, it wouldn't shock me at all. Because my other answer would be either these people were there at the crime scene or we got a leak within our police force and society and this little thing of ours. This little thing called the United States of ours that you can't get a fair trial because these people know more than we know in court. I think it should have been filmed in court. I think the people should have seen every photo. I think the people should have seen every piece of evidence, everybody's phone data. I think the people of the United States should have seen everything so we can say, look at what these sick idiots did to our children and are doing to our American citizens. Look at. And that's the same thing that I thought they did a great job doing in the O.J. Simpson case of them putting everything out saying, look at this madness. Take a good look at this madness. This is the madness that lives among us. No, my voice is starting to go out on me. Instead, they are not allowing cameras in courtrooms for Delphi. Nope. Nope. There is people looking all over the place for any inkling of the tattoo on somebody that even smells like an Odin tattoo. Anything witchery, they're really cracking down on this. They are just looking for people. They are watching these people, and this is no joke, Floyd. This is the truth. This is bigger than what you folks will ever know. This is bigger than what you will ever know. There's actually new divisions being created just to watch these people. You even got a tattoo of this Odin crap, and automatically you are on the radar. You got any of this crap. And everyone's like, nah, you're joking. No, no. Our technology has gotten so far advanced in the power, manpower now. Some of these organizations with the government are screaming out they don't have enough manpower, but they do. They just don't want you to know how much manpower they have. No, I gotta go. It is really late. You ladies need your beauty sleep. I know that, right? This ATS news, you need to get some rest. Right? You have a little one. Oh, yes, you need to take a break. I can't tell you what to do. I'm not married to you. I'm not related to you. I'm not, right? I don't think I am, but I can't tell you what to do. But as your chat doctor, I probably would say, you need rest. Oh, you got a doctor's appointment tomorrow. Good luck. Ah, glue close. What are they gluing together? I don't know. She might be getting plastic surgery. Are they gluing stuff? I have no idea. These women today, they get all kinds of operations. They're gluing something to you? I have no idea. She said glue closed. I don't know. Yes, good night. I hope everything goes good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. Have a great night. God bless you all. And remember, folks, keep an open mind on a crime case. Anything is possible. And I've never seen so many people trying to divert us away from the truth. And whenever there's a big reward involved or anything like that, you will have these people deliberately lie to you and try and send you on a goose chase so they can collect the money. They'll do anything. They'll make up all kinds of lies and videos and edited videos saying that someone else is the. We live in a madhouse. No, I want my military to be on 24/7 call. I want my national disaster teams to be ready. We got stuff happening, earthquakes and all kinds of stuff, volcanoes, tornadoes, and all kinds of crap. I want my citizens to be good and keep your eyes open. Good night, Jeff Polly. Thanks for stopping in. Debbie Fox, Miss ATS News, the great Miss Kelt, and even the troll, Lame Staley. Have a great night, folks. Lock your doors and your windows at night and during the day while you're at home. God bless you all. All glory goes to God. Thank you for another day, Lord. Forgive us for our sins. Thank you for our daily bread. And lead us not into temptation. And forgive me of my sins. and I'm boycotting women. I don't even want to look at another woman. I've had enough of it. My downfall, beautiful woman. I'm done with it. God bless America. Yada 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 and yada. Have a good day.